Hello to all of you viewers of The Pioneer. We're here with shocking news and the dark shadow of war. Today we bring you stunning footage from Russia that reveals the gravity of the war. The Russian military is struggling with internal indiscipline and growing internal tensions. In recent weeks, allegations that Russian soldiers on the front line are refusing orders from their superiors have attracted a lot of attention. However, there is a fact that is more striking than these allegations. Footage showing soldiers disobeying these orders being subjected to harsh interventions by their own commanders has been widely circulated on social media. These developments reveal not only the current problems in the Russian army, but also the dynamics of the war behind the front lines and the psychological state of the soldiers. So, in what kind of atmosphere have Russian soldiers reached this point? What are the factors that led to the refusal of orders? And how does this affect Russia's military operations? We'll try to answer all these questions in detail and paint a clearer picture of the course of the war and the internal structure of the Russian army. Recent reports indicate that Russian soldiers are increasingly refusing to participate in lethal offensives, so-called meat attacks. These attacks have created the perception among soldiers that they are being sent on a death mission. The intense artillery fire and near-suicide missions have taken an unbearable psychological toll on frontline soldiers. Leaked footage and reports suggest that commanders have resorted to violence to break this resistance. In some cases, there are serious allegations of the use of devices such as tasers and physical punishment of soldiers. This is not only a lack of discipline, but also a clear indication that the Russian army is in deep crisis. Get ready as we continue to peel back the dark curtain of war. Before we get to our report, though, a quick reminder. The Pioneer team is definitely real. None of my teammates or me are artificial intelligence. Even though AI is very advanced, it's still not as good as us. By the way, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our daily reports and explanations. We do read all the comments you leave on our videos, so please continue to share your ideas about our content. Tell us in the comments what content you'd like to see on the Pioneer channel. And now let us begin if you're ready. The Pioneer reports. The war between Russia and Ukraine is marked not only by fierce fighting on the front lines, but also by deep crises within the Russian military. Moscow's long-standing controversial strategy of using what is popularly known as meat attacks has created a wave of unrest and disobedience within the army. This method can be summarized as sending soldiers to the front without armor and with inadequate preparation, and is generally based on sending soldiers into battle vulnerable to high casualties. Allegations that soldiers who oppose this strategy face severe repression and torture are increasingly being documented and discussed. A recent video circulated on Moscow-affiliated Telegram channels, which quickly became a social media sensation, has once again highlighted the deep demoralization and disciplinary problems in the Russian army. The video, shared on the X platform by Ukraine's former Deputy Interior Minister Anton Grashchenko, was particularly striking. It shows soldiers from Kyzyl in the Republic of Tuva being severely punished for refusing to participate in meat attacks. The soldiers are reportedly from Russia's 55th Motorized Rifle Brigade and are clearly being beaten by military police. The video shows a soldier being beaten with a baton and another soldier being shocked with a taser. In the statement made after these images, it was claimed that an officer in the military police, codenamed mad, was the one who carried out the punishments. In his post, Grashchenko emphasized that such incidents have become systematic in the Russian army and stated that the images reveal that the war has caused a major dissolution not only on the front line but also in the structure of the Russian army itself. The fact that one of the punished soldiers was severely wounded and unable to walk further increased the severity of the incident. These crises in the Russian army are not new, but they are deepening. Low soldier morale, lack of leadership, and discipline problems have been among the challenges facing the Russian army since the early days of the war. However, strategies such as meat attacks have made these problems more visible. Soldiers sent to war using this method are often poorly trained, inexperienced, and unprepared for combat conditions. This not only leads to higher casualties on the battlefield, but also to soldiers refusing to participate in such operations, desertion, and even mutiny. For example, footage circulated in 2023 revealed that soldiers who refused to go to the front were punished by being tied to trees overnight. Similarly, there have been frequent reports of soldiers who refused to participate in meat attacks being subjected to physical torture and psychological pressure. All these incidents point to the fact that the problems in the Russian army are systematic, not individual. Russia's war strategy is facing serious difficulties not only on the front line, but also in recruiting new soldiers. Efforts to recruit volunteers have been inadequate, while forced mobilization decisions have provoked strong reactions among the population. Moscow's refusal to change its strategy in the face of difficult war conditions is exacerbating both the lack of discipline in the army and discontent among the soldiers. This is leading to a rapid depletion of military resources needed to sustain the war effort. Following the release of the video, law enforcement agencies in Russia's Siberian region reportedly launched an investigation into the incident and arrested the military police officer involved in the torture. However, experts say that such individual arrests will not solve systematic problems. On the contrary, such incidents are considered to be a harbinger of bigger crises that the Russian army will face in the continuation of the war. Experts agree that these crises in the Russian army will seriously undermine Moscow's war effort in the long run. Losses on the battlefield and problems within the army itself could trigger not only a collapse in morale among soldiers, but also a decline in support for the conflict in Russian society. The physical and psychological exhaustion of frontline soldiers increasingly threatens Russia's fighting capacity. As a result, Moscow's capacity to continue the war in Ukraine depends not only on the battles on the front line, but also on how it handles problems inside its army. Such events show that the Kremlin faces a major test not only militarily, but also politically. The course and outcome of the war may be directly linked to whether these crises can be resolved. What do you think? What do you think the destruction of Russian soldiers by the Russian army means? What impact might such events have in the future? Let us know in the comments. We read and care about your points of view.